Hey Bookaholics, so welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you my December TBR. I don't have any decorations up. My decorations will have to be up until the end of the first week of January, so I definitely can't be putting them up in November. They're going to be up too long. Sorry that it's not more festive and vibe for this video, but I have put a Christmas jumper on, so I hope you'll at least appreciate that. But today we're going to be talking through all of the books that I am planning on reading for the month of December. We'll start with the book clubs, and my sci-fi book club is on pause until the new year. We paused the November one because I was getting a bit overwhelmed, and then December, it's not a great time for book clubs, so we're not doing one for December. The fantasy one, because it's bi-monthly, is still continuing. So for October and November, we had the first book in the series, and for December and January, we have the second book in the Rock and Rose series by M.A. Carrick, which means that The Liar's Knot is technically December's book. I think most of us will probably end up reading it in January instead, but I am excited to continue. I have started book one. I don't know, I assume I'll have finished it by the time this video goes up. I've really enjoyed what I've read so far of book one, so I'm very excited to get to book two. I think that it will probably more likely be a January read because I think that book clubs kind of need to slow down a little bit over the Christmas period. I have 3 vlog projects on the go for December. The first one being one that I always do, and that is a Baba Yaga vlog. I love Baba Yaga mythology. I love all of the different interpretations of her. So I am planning on reading some Baba Yaga books. The first one being Finding Baba Yaga by Jane Yolen. This one is a YA fantasy novel, and it is told in verse. And it's been a long time since I've read a book in verse. I used to love reading Elizabeth Acevedo and Jason Reynolds and Dean Atta, and it's been a long time since I've read one. So maybe this will be the kick that I need to continue reading some novels in verse. The plot for this one says, a young woman discovers the power to speak up and take control of her fate, a theme that has never been more timely than it is now. You think you know this story. You do not. A harsh, controlling father, a quiescent mother, a house that feels like anything but home. Natasha gathers the strength to leave and comes upon a little house in the wood, a house that walks about on chicken feet and is inhabited by a fairy tale witch. In finding Baba Yaga, Natasha finds her voice, her power, herself. Sounds very good. I'm very excited to get to that. The next Baba Yaga book that I have is House of Frost and Feathers by Lauren Westburn. I am hoping to get this physically, but it's not out physically until after I've filmed this. This one's a historical fantasy, I believe, as well as being a retelling. And it's been comped to Bear and the Nightingale. They'll get comped to the Bear and Nightingale, but also Juniper and Thorn. So I'm expecting this to have quite heavy themes because Juniper and Thorn took me by surprise how heavy the themes were in that one. So let's see what it's about. A sense of wonder and adventure makes up this lyrical debut fantasy of a young woman in search of a home and a home in search of people to make it feel lived in. Marisha's time is running out. She's already lost her family to the sleeping plague, and she fears she'll be next. Penniless and desperate for protection, Marisha is forced to accept a job as an apprentice to the notorious Koldunya, the sorceress Baba Zima. But Baba Zima is renowned for being both clever and cruel, and most difficult of all is her current apprentice, Olena, who wants nothing to do with Marisha. Despite her fears and Olena's cold demeanor, Marisha finds herself drawn into the magical world of Koldunri and delves further into Olena's research, a cure for the sleeping plague. Accompanying Olena on the increasingly dangerous, seemingly impossible search for a cure, she finds hidden connections between the sleeping plague, her own family's history, and her bizarre recurring dreams of a mass ball where the deep sleepers are trapped endlessly dancing and a monstrous beaked man who haunts her every step. Sounds very exciting. It does sound really good. I do like that one because I feel like it's combined quite a few myths as well, because you've got the dancing plague almost, and you've got the sleeping plague, and then you've got the Baba Yaga-ness, and then you've got the beaked man, and I don't know, I'm excited about that. And the last one I have is a collection of short stories, which is Into the Forest, Tales of Baba Yaga. It has quite a few contributors. The only one I have read from before is Christina Henry, but we've got Gwendolyn Keister, Stephanie M. Vistovich, I don't know how I'm pronouncing that, my bad. Mercedes M. Yardley, Monique Cinnamon, Donna Lynch, Lisa Quingley, RJ Joseph, Catherine McCarthy, Sarah Tantlinger, Yi Izzy Yu, Jess Hageman, Karina Bissett, and Jill Baguchinsky. I have no idea if I have pronounced any of those names correctly. I am very sorry. We have a collection of new and exclusive short stories inspired by Baba Yaga. Deep in the dark forest, in a cottage that spins on birds' legs behind a fence topped with human skulls, lives the Baba Yaga, a guardian of the water of life. She lives with her sisters and takes to the skies in a giant mortar and pestle, creating tempests as she goes. Those who come across the Baba Yaga may find help or hindrance or horror. She is wild, she is woman, she is witch, and these are her tales. I am very excited to try this one because I'd like to see a lot of different people's interpretations of Baba Yaga, especially because some of them I imagine are going to have her as a villain and some of them not. The next vlog project that I have is my romance vlog. It will be my last of my at least series of romance vlogs. I might continue a few here or there over 2026 if there are romances that I think would work well together. But for the most part, this is the last one that I'm doing for this series at the moment. And it's going to be wintry romances. I thought it would fit the vibe quite well. So we have the first one I'm reading is The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick, and this one is the first book in the Four Winds series, and it is a romantasy. I think it has a bit of mythology in it as well from what I've read, and it is a Beauty and the Beast / Hades and Persephone retelling, I believe. The story says, Wren of Edgewood is no stranger to suffering. With her parents gone, it's Wren's responsibility to ensure she and her sister survive the harsh and endless winter. But if the legends are to be believed, their home may not be safe for much longer. For 300 years, the land surrounding Edgewood has been encased in ice, as the shade, a magical barrier that protects the townsfolk from the deadlands beyond, weakens. Only one thing can stop the shade's fall: the blood of a mortal woman bound in wedlock to the North Wind. A dangerous immortal whose heart is said to be frigid as the land he rules. And the time has come to choose his bride. When the North Wind sets his eyes on Wren's sister, Wren will do anything to save her, even if it means sacrificing herself in the process. But mortal or not, Wren won't go down without a fight. So apparently it's a standalone in a series of companion novels, so that is quite good as well. That makes me more excited. I prefer those, I think, with romances. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one. The next one is one I'm not excited about, but one I am very curious about and what I'm wanting to try. I feel like this is going to be a rabbit hole I might fall down. I do love the idea of being rather addicted to this series, especially because it is quite a long one. It is 20 books long, and that is Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I know that this is kind of like an alien monster smut kind of thing, sci-fi romance, and I'm excited to give it a try for all the wrong reasons. I think it's going to be a good time. So the synopsis for this one says, you'd think being abducted by aliens would be the worst thing that could happen to me. And you'd be wrong, because now the aliens are having ship trouble, and they've left their cargo of human women, including me, on an ice planet. And the only native inhabitant I've met, he's big, horned, blue, and really, really has a thing for me. I believe they have a breeding kink in this series, though, which is a thing, I suppose. We'll see. I'm not expecting to love it, but I am expecting to have a really good time in the process. And the last one that I have for this vlog is Ledge by Stacey McEwen. This is the first book in the Glacian trilogy. This one's another epic fantasy romantasy thing going on. Enemies to lovers, again, because you gotta love some enemies to lovers. So the synopsis for this one is, after being randomly selected as a human sacrifice, instead of death, Dawson, really, that's her name, finds herself on a quest to save her people from their icy prison. In a place known as the Ledge, a civilization is trapped by a vast chasm and sheer mountain face. There is no way for anyone to escape the frozen wasteland without befalling a deathly drop. They know nothing of the outside world except that is where the Glacians reside. Mystical and vicious winged creatures who bring meager rations in exchange for periodic human sacrifice. Dawson, axe wielder and only remaining member of her family, has so far avoided the annual culling, but her luck has run out. She is chosen and ripped from her icy home, the only world she has ever known. No one knows what will happen to her on the other side, least of all Dawson. Murdered, enslaved, worse? Fortunately, a half-Glacian called Rion offers to help them both escape, but how can she trust one of the very creatures that plagued her life? Dawson is a survivor, and she is not afraid to cut anyone down to live. With a slow-burning romance, high stakes, and even higher rewards, this richly created new fantasy series will keep you gripped to the very end. Content warnings, gratuitous violence and death, death of a minor, suicide, attempted sexual assault. Alright, well this is darker than I thought it was going to be, but okay, let's give that a whirl, I suppose. So there you go. Those are the books that I'm planning on reading. I am also going to be doing a spinner wheel vlog, the last of its kind. I am going to be doing spinner wheel vlogs next year, but they are changing format very drastically. So this will be the last of this type of spinner wheel vlog, but I'm excited for it. This one is WANA, so West Asia and North Africa, just to kind of round up the year with having read a little bit more diversity, I suppose. But yeah, I'm very excited for all of the books that I have planned. I am very excited for all of the books that are in the spinner wheel. So it's all good. It's a good way to end the year. I'm excited for all of these. I think they're going to be light and easy reads as well for the most part. Granted, some of them have darker content than I was expecting. But even still, I feel like it's going to be an easy time finishing up the year, which is exactly what I wanted. So let me know if you've read any of these books and your thoughts on them. Let me know what you are planning on reading for December. I would love to know. And if based on my interest in these books, if you have any other recommendations for wintry romances, for Baba Yaga stories, let me know. I will hopefully catch you in another one soon. Bye!